Okay, example 3, same kind of problem. Solve a quadratic equation. It says specifically by completing the square. This is not descending order, right? So if I'm going to go step 1, x squared plus 2x minus 5 equals 0. Okay. Hopefully, after you've done 8 to 10 of these, you're going to become comfortable enough that you can combine steps 1 and 2 into one step. Okay. I could have just easily put this minus 5 over here and left the gap. Okay, so I could have started off making this x squared plus 2x, move the minus 5 over, right? So I'm fine. At whatever point you're comfortable doing that, by all means do it. That's how I do it every time myself. I skip that step 100% of the time when I'm doing it by myself. When I'm demonstrating for people, I'll put it in there. But again, that's a step that never shows up in my paper when I'm completing the square. So I can move that over, I can rearrange that, I can leave my gap without putting this step in. But again, if you aren't comfortable with that, by all means put this step in first. Get comfortable to a point that you're doing it though, that's fine. Alright, let's go with Austin. What's the magic number on this problem?
It would be 1.
Perfect. We take half of 2 as 1 and 1 squared is also 1. Okay, so adding 1 to the left requires me to add 1 to the right because again, that's just a basic rule of algebra. We learned it about the 3rd week of Algebra 1, the additive property of equality. If you have an equation, the blue stuff, you have to add the same amount to both sides of the equation to keep it true. All right, so if I want to add 1 because I want to, I have to add 1 to the other side also as a consequence. So that leaves me with on the left-hand side, perfect square, right?
Yes.
What goes in the middle is a plus sign because there's plus. Square root of x squared to square root of 1 is x and 1. The right-hand side, 5 plus 1 is 6. Okay, and again, done with step 4. I'm back to the point where we've done these before. Perfect square, squared object equals number. That means the non-squared object equals plus or minus the square root of that number. Anybody know the square root of 6 off the top of their head? Me neither. So we'll leave it as square root of 6. I'm going to move the 1 to the other side. Notice it's plus 1, so it moves over, becomes the minus 1. Plus or minus the square root of 6. I've noticed that some of you guys on these problems here, that you're forgiving me to change the sign when you move it across. Also, some of you are putting it on the other side of this. Always put it in front of the plus or minus sign. That's just good math. Put it in front of the plus or minus sign. All right. So negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 6. Again, those are the answers to that problem that work. Again, I can verify negative 1 plus the square root of 6. All I'm doing here is hitting store x, the little store button there. All that does is tell the calculator, anytime I type x, I mean that. So now if I type in 2x plus x squared minus 5, it should equal 0, and it does. And if you want to use that calculator check, by all means do it. Don't check both. If one works, they both work. All right. Plus or minus the square root of 6, I promise you if the plus works, the minus works. So you don't have to try both. All right. So, and that's, again, will work 100% of the time. Anytime it says solve and it's quadratic, x to the 2nd power, this works 100% of the time. Every single problem.